Vlogmas. I have number 14 here. It's a nice big box, but it feels quite empty, so let's have a look what's inside, shall we? Oh, it's quite tiny actually. Oh. So it is by the brand Elf, which I've heard of definitely, and it is a, what does it say? A velvet matte lipstick, and it is in the shade Blushing Brown. So this is the shade of the lipstick. So yeah, looks really nice. Happy. So today Phoebe and I are going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of vlogging today, we're going to be doing 5 things about having a newborn that surprised me, because obviously you research birth, you research pregnancy, you research everything, but actually when the newborn arrives, you're kind of a bit like, what am I doing? So just 5 things that surprised me personally about having a newborn. So the first thing that surprised me was sleep, and not anything to do with her sleep, but to do with my sleep. I think I took for granted in pregnancy the amount of sleep and the amount I could just lie around and do what I wanted. Obviously I had a C-section, so I can only speak for having a C-section, but I was so tired after the process of being induced, then labour, then emergency C-section, and then after that, because of COVID, because Fraser had to leave basically straight away and I was on my own, how tired I was, I don't think I've ever been that tired in my life, and I don't think I've ever been that tired since, but it was unreal. And I believe, like, even if you had given birth vaginally, you would still be tired because you've gone through, again, that whole process of labour and birth, and then you have a baby, so you will be knackered. So my advice definitely would be, like, I was feeding her, I was trying to feed her, and I was literally falling asleep sitting up. Like, I've never been that tired before in my life. So my advice to new mums or mums to be would definitely be, if you think you're in labour, or if you think if you're going in to be induced, or if you're going in for your C-section, sleep. Get some sleep, because you will not be able to have any sleep for the first, or at least not more than 10 minutes at a time for the first like 24 hours. It's unreal. Like I said, I've never been so tired in my life. So that is the first thing that I definitely didn't prepare for, I didn't expect. So that's my number 1 tip for mums to be. Secondly, another thing that surprised me about having a newborn is how quickly they change. I kind of assumed, obviously I've never held a newborn before really, I've never kind of been in contact with a newborn before, I've never been available, like, around to see them change so quickly. Obviously Phoebe is now 8 weeks, and for me, in my head, I would think of an 8-week-old, before I had her, I would think of an 8-week-old as like a baby. Like, she would be tiny, she would not be doing anything, she'd just be lying around asleep all the time, but it's not the case at all. I think that was the case for like maybe the first week and a half, 2 weeks, but they change so much, which is why I guess people say kind of like treasure every moment, because already, you know, you can see she's so much more alert, she's so much more awake, bless her. She's so much more chatty and smiley than I ever thought an 8-week-old would be. I mean, that might just be my naivety as well. I mean, some people might know that, but yeah. So definitely how quickly they change, how quickly they seem like they're growing up. I look back at pictures of when she was first born and she looks completely different, and so little. So yeah, definitely appreciate every moment. Okay, so the next thing that surprised me about newborns is their poop. Newborns, well, my newborn in particular, or my baby in particular, and of course every baby's different, but she doesn't poop often at all. Maybe like once every 5 or 6 days, which is perfectly healthy. You know, for a breastfed baby, that's perfectly normal. But when you think of a baby, you're thinking about like poo everywhere, changing nappies all the time, like it's a mess, it's, you know, it's disgusting, it's stinky, it's messy, but that's not the case at all. Like, she literally poos once every like 5 or 6 days, and obviously it's not like a person's, like an adult's poo at all. It's completely different. It doesn't really smell at all. So yeah, completely different to what I expected. The next thing that surprised me and Fraser is how kind of mobile she is. And they say, you know, health visitor says don't leave them lying on the sofa on their own, don't leave them lying on the bed, they'll be able to move off. But when they say they can like not even roll but kind of like shuffle and like kick around and move, it's crazy. Like even from day one, the amount that she could get out of her swaddle, her wrap, you know, kick off all her blankets, wriggle around was crazy. So definitely don't think that newborns just lie still on their back and kind of just lie there doing nothing, because she is such a wriggle bum, and she was from the minute she was born. And the last thing that surprised me about newborns is how you hold them. I'm going to get her out to show you. So, who pictures holding a newborn like this? And that is just, we just never hold her like that at all. Mostly, we just end up sitting with her like this and holding her sat up. Even when she was little, obviously we had to support her head a little bit more, but now she's got good control of her head, so we basically just have her sitting up all the time, but we literally would never hold her like a little baby like this. It just looks so funny. The other way we can hold her as well is like this, so like over our shoulder. But yeah, you very, very rarely, even when she was little, oh Baba, sorry, even when she was little, we very rarely held her like you would picture holding a baby, because they just don't really like it. I mean, I suppose I would hold her like that when feeding her, but yeah, she much prefers to be sat up or up on your shoulder. So yeah, definitely surprised me that you didn't hold a newborn like how you think you would hold one. You hold them all the other ways, don't you? So yeah, just a short video today, just 5 quick things that surprised me about having a newborn, and we're gonna go before we get too grumpy. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye bye!